What happens if you take a dull, boring coastline and turn it into a waterfront paradise? And is that even possible in Cities Skylines too? Today, we are completely upgrading the coast in unexpected ways, using every trick we can find to bring in ships, yachts, pontoons, naval vessels, and tugboats. I'm College Builder, your friendly college dean playing Cities Skylines 2. Welcome back to Marathon Cove. This is episode 27. We've gradually wrapped our way around the waterfront, and today we start building a new harbor drive and the recreation area of our future downtown. The anchor will be a brand new custom asset, the San Diego County Administration Building, which will serve as our main city hall. We'll start our vibrant waterfront by constructing Harbor Drive with parking for all the tourist amenities. Our downtown is going to feature a new grid size of 120 meters wide by 88 meters deep. Marathon City was founded in 1771, along with its Spanish mission, but this grid wasn't developed until the late 1860s. The Marathon City Administration Center, a building I commissioned from DARF, was completed in 1938 to consolidate city and county government offices that were scattered throughout downtown. The waterfront has undergone periods of rejuvenation, beginning with early commercial development in the 1860s, when the grid was first laid out. The vibrant coastline we are building today, a modern civic and tourist destination, was redeveloped in the 1970s and the 1980s. The Marathon City Administration Center sits like a crown jewel facing the water. DARF did an amazing job recreating this real-life San Diego building, complete with its gorgeous Beaux-Arts and Spanish Revival styles. It has connecting pathways on three sides, including a small parking lot on the right, so we'll make sure everything connects properly. Now it's time to extend our Harbor Drive from downtown, around the mountains, past the Naval Hospital, and into Chula Vista, the community we built in the last episode. We are going to create our own Harbor Drive to connect different parts of the city. The Harbor Drive was constructed between 1938 and 1942, around the same time as the administration building. Traffic has been terrible because Chula Vista was a giant cul-de-sac with one way in and out. This Harbor Drive will help to relieve that traffic and provide critical access for the residents in Chula Vista to get to downtown and the industrial seaport. It also provides connections in the reverse for people who will live downtown to get to the hospital and San Carlos University. Now we need some cleanup because each intersection on Harbor Drive is actually two intersections with two sets of traffic lights. This will create massive backups. Using the Early Access Network Tools mod by Luca, we can use the supernode feature. We simply select the nodes we want to turn into a supernode and then hit Create. This will turn two intersections into one large intersection with a single set of traffic lights. Let's also provide an extra turning lane, and then we can work our way down Harbor Drive, turning each of these intersections into a supernode. After some fiddling around, I decided to replace our custom parking road with two sets of parallel roads. The inner pair has 3 lanes going in each direction. The outer pair consists of a single lane with angled parking. The main reason for this is simple. We want cars driving through to stay on the main inner roads. Cars should only access the outer parking lanes if they want to park or if they plan to access a waterfront amenity. I'm sure some of you hate this approach, but the beauty of network tools is that it allows you to create supernodes for huge but nonetheless effective intersections. The first stage of Harbor Drive is complete. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and while you're at it, please give the video a like. Part of creating a vibrant waterfront recreation area requires ferries. Let's place the large ferry terminal along Harbor Drive with easy access to the train station. The first regular ferry route from downtown to the island of Descanso Bay was added in 1891. Let's add a second ferry stop to the pier at Descanso Point. As our downtown and region grow, the ferry terminal will be an important route to and from the island, particularly with the train station within walking distance. For now, let's add one more route, this time taking us into the cove itself, although to the back of the cove by Marathon University. This will provide a shortcut to the popular shops in University Village, to the beaches on the peninsula, and of course, to the university itself. We've intentionally drawn a separate ferry pathway as we want to spread the boats out in the cove, making it look more alive with activity. Let's now construct a bit more of our downtown grid. While our focus today is creating a vibrant waterfront, seeing the scale of our future downtown will help us visualize the scale of the coastal recreation area. Some of this is just a temporary placeholder, such as connecting in the highway, until we are ready to tackle the downtown project. The Harbor Drive and Ferry Terminal are just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of developing the coast. Now, let's extend the land outward to create a cruise port, a very important place for tourists who are embarking on ships headed down to Cabo, Hawaii, or through the Panama Canal. The first cruise ships departed from Marathon City in the 1970s, and Disney cruises began in 2012. Today, Marathon City Cruise Port is a popular place for other major companies, including Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Lines. Let's clean up the land along the pier using a key wall for the road to create the right look. We want the cruise port to feel like a solid pier when viewed from all three sides. Although ships will only pull up to the functional side of the port, we want to imagine that boats and ships could be docking all around it. With the addition of our ferry terminal and cruise port, traffic in the harbor is really picking up, but I think we can do so much more. Let's use the quay wall with a wide pedestrian path to create a connection from the ferry all the way to the port. In real life, a Disney cruise ship can have anywhere from 2,500 up to 6,000 passengers. A Royal Caribbean ship can have even more. Although the Cities Skylines 2 mechanic for cruise ships needs some work, we want to suppose that thousands of people will be coming and going from this terminal all at once. We'll need many modes of transit here. The walking paths from the ferry are just one. Others will come via the train station. Most cruise terminals have substantial parking lots. I fiddled with this one to get the color just right, and then added some parking props, getting it ready for cars to park here for an extended period of time. I love building custom lots and using the extra detailing tools. In this case, using a custom lot rather than a vanilla one allows us to fill the space just perfectly. We will also go all out on the details, creating walking paths to the street, covering those with pavement, and then using the white net lanes border to create an edge around the entire lot. The edge is a lot of extra work, but this type of small detail gives the lot a finished look. It's going to take many more cruise ships for this lot to fill up, but I think it's worth it. The last major detail will be a security fence that wraps around the entire lot. Parking lots like this are pretty utilitarian and nothing special to look at, but some security for the cars is probably helpful. It's been a while since I was on a cruise ship, but if you have recently, let me know if you think we've captured this correctly. Finally, as a reminder, Marathon City was an important naval base during World War I and II, which is the reason we have the Naval Hospital. Let's add a retired aircraft carrier as a floating World War museum that sits alongside the cruise terminal. The ferry terminal and cruise port serve a practical function, but now let's turn to the purely recreational. The North Embarcadero was first established in 1976, filling in part of the harbor with land to create the Marina Park. In 2013, the Embarcadero underwent a major renovation, and then in 2021, the Marina shell was opened, becoming an important venue for the Marathon City Symphony to perform. In reality, we don't quite have all the assets or props we need to create this performance venue, so we are going to get a little creative. We are using a pavilion from the City Stations Creator Pack as our shell, imagining that it covers the stage. We are using paths to create the outline, and we are using a prop chair to create our seating, hopefully enough for a few thousand. For the front seats, we used the grid tool to fill it in. Then we went back to remove every other row using the Move It mod. Afterward, it's easy enough to delete the chairs we removed. For the back portion of the seats, things are a little trickier. We want the rows to curve and to gradually go uphill. Let's create a row of chairs down the middle for measuring, and then draw out a column of chairs on each side. This will help us know where to start and end each row. I used the Advanced Line tool with it set to curved, and then matched up each row to the guides. Once complete, it was simply a matter of going back to delete the chairs from the aisles. This was definitely a time-consuming process, and perhaps it was a bit unnecessary, but I love the way it turned out. It feels like we have a waterfront open-air music venue ready for singers and artists to perform. We'll add some key walls to the paths, helping to define the sides of our slope and limit access to those with tickets. The outer paths will help patrons to navigate around to their seats, and then we can use the wide pedestrian path to outline the water's edge. We want to add a bit of parking here, so we will make a first attempt. Ultimately, it will need to be redone, so there's no need to linger on the stage. Instead, let's focus on adding some connecting paths from the road to the seating, and then we can clean up the land along the water. Under the pavilion, we can add some extra concrete, giving this end of the Embarcadero a more finished look. The chairs will best be suited all in one color. The closer ones will be in red, and the far back seats will be in white, just to make it visually interesting. Now, let's extend out the concrete surface a bit more around the front of the pavilion. We can then delete some of the pedestrian paths and replace them with invisible ones. We want the grassy hill to stay grassy looking. I am not sure that any of our citizens will use these paths, but at least for now they are in place. At some point, I hope we have outdoor theaters and concert venues in the game, and that we have a mechanic where our citizens will go to a concert like they did in Cities Skylines 1. Next, we can finish off the water's edge using small random rocks and placing them with the Advanced Line tool. The remaining edges will use the wide pedestrian walking and bike path. Perhaps someone just wants to go for a walk around the Embarcadero. I love this sort of waterfront development project. It creates a beautiful and usable space right on the water. Whether a concert is happening or not, people can take a leisurely stroll, walk around the path, and take in the beautiful views. And all of this is just steps away from Harbor Drive and our new county administration building. Let's now switch gears and begin to build out the Embarcadero Marina Park South. This land extension is much smaller than the concert venue and will consist of parking and a number of parks. Like the north side, we will wrap the park with our dual biking and walking path. On this side, we will use key walls rather than the rocks to create a clean border. Let's create some smaller paths through the middle of the park, giving places for our citizens to wander about. The South Embarcadero will also feature a skating park, giving a place for teenagers to hang out. Several smaller pocket parks will be scattered around, but we will remove their base surfaces so that they blend in better, as if this was just one large park. The biking and walking path will continue down the waterfront, connecting the north and south sides of the marina. Bike parking will provide a place for cyclists. And now it's time to finish decorating this area of the park. Let's use thin grass and dirt surfaces around the skate park and other small recreation areas to make them look used and worn in. The last step is to add some foliage, including thick oak trees, tall palms, and some scraggly bushes. Of course, the north and south Embarcadero here are just part of a marina, so it's time for us to add some boats. We will use the Marina Networks mod, which allows us to draw in marinas complete with boat props all at once. I just eyeballed this, so please forgive me for drawing some of these a bit too close together. Hopefully it looks good enough. We'll connect our waterfront path to the ferry terminal, and now let's complete the outdoor pavilion area. As I mentioned before, we are going to redo the parking. With it, we will add a nightclub, a few parks, and a playground. These should be a great tourist attraction for our citizens. Let's place the small leisure tea house so that Biffa has a place for tea when he comes to visit. The entrance will be a good spot to place a gelato store. It will keep people cool on a hot day. We can do a bit more detailing to really make the Embarcadero come to life. A few extra paths keep it connected, and a grass surface under everything will tie it together. Inside the seats, we will use a sandy surface to outline the paths and the aisles. What we've created here is a very contemporary recreation and leisure area, bringing the waterfront to life in a way that will support the citizens of our future downtown. Of course, we will need to build that downtown, but we are far from ready to do so. Additionally, the waterfront is not all for play. We need a port as well. Since its early days, Marathon City has been a community on the water. This vital waterfront allowed it to become a major base of operations for the military, cargo, and passengers. We will create a small cargo pier using the small port gate to create a standalone port. This pier will help to service the downtown area. Let's use the pier roads and quays, place a few storage sections, and add a single loading crane. We'll designate one route from this pier headed off to Hong Kong. And now a problem. We forgot to include refrigerated storage, so let's go back and extend the length of the pier by just a little bit. We'll move the tank farm closer to the entrance, and then use the extended portion for the refrigerated storage. This is necessary for holding certain types of cargo, like food. We will tie up the end of the pier, smooth out the terrain, and make sure all the key walls are in place. A few extra props will provide a nice detail, like this tugboat I found on PDX Mods. After all we've done today, I want to add one more ferry line. From the downtown ferry terminal, we have the orange route going to Descanso Point and the yellow route going to Marathon University. Let's add an additional ferry stop to the main pier in Descanso Bay. The island is really the place that has the most interesting and busiest activity in Marathon Cove, outside of our main industrial port. But today, we have taken steps to change that. We have had a significant impact on the waterfront of Marathon City, turning it into a vibrant area for transport, recreation, and industry. If anything inspired you, please give the video a like or comment, and be sure to turn on notifications when you subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. Class dismissed.